Well, hello everybody, and welcome to this episode of HCTalk. As always, I'm your host, Lance Gormley. Our special guest on the program today is Duane Jones, who is the president of the Junior Railers Football and Cheer Program, head football coach for 6th grade, and is here today to be the representative of the Railer Foundation. How are you doing today, Duane?
I am better than I should be, man.
Good, very good.
Yeah.
I like that optimistic attitude right off the bat.
Every time,
right?
man. Every time you got to do it.
I love it. Okay, so when I first heard about the Railer Foundation and what they were wanting to do and what they're trying to accomplish, I thought, man, I really want to have somebody come out here, be a representative for them, but it also gives me the opportunity to get to know whoever that person happens to be, where they came from, where they hail from. And so I guess I'm going to start just with what I normally do on the program is just kind of find a little bit about who you are, where you came from. Did you go to school here in Newton? Are you a Harvey County resident lifelong? So just give me a rundown on where Duane came from and how he came to be here today.
Yeah, that's an easy story, right? No, pretty much I'm a kid from Peabody, actually. So I grew up in Peabody. Mom and dad actually was born in Virginia, but we moved out here. Dad played ball at K-State and so forth, and so that's how we ended up back here. Granddad ran the Gazette there in Peabody for 50 plus years. We're just community kids. Me and my wife ended up meeting each other at work. And then, just had kids here and just decided this was where we wanted to put our foot down at. So.
Yeah, so Newton became kind of the bullseye because even though Peabody is not in Harvey County, Newton's probably the largest community outside of like maybe a Wichita type of area. So if you're from Peabody, you like that small hometown feel. I know
I'm
that.
Let you know, like when I was younger, I loved coming to Newton. Like Granddad, because we always had to get the paper printed on Wednesdays. So the Kansan actually did the paper then. Okay. And so every Wednesday we'd get it printed. And so we'd always come do donuts or Sonic. I remember the first time we ever had a Sonic cone or Coney, and it's like, anyway, it's just the things about Newton that we always just loved. And, even when I was playing football in Peabody, I always wanted to play football in Newton just because it was like, it was a bigger opportunity, more opportunity, a bigger school. I just like playing at Fisher Field. I always thought it would be amazing to do that. So, So definitely now coming through the program with kids, we definitely want to see my son be a Railer one day. So,
cool. Yeah, cool. Just a quick question. I always like to find out. You said you played Peabody or football in Peabody. Was that the only sport you played? Is you just have a love for football, or in a smaller school, sometimes you get an opportunity to do a bunch of different things?
So actually, I played all sports. I ain't gonna lie to you. Football is the one I liked the most. I really liked track. Track was my second favorite. I had the record second place record, I should say, for a while there for shot put, and then high jump. I was really good at high jump, like 235 pounds, jumping 6'3" is awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was gonna say you're a big guy if you do a high jump, but especially being in football in a smaller school and stuff, I bet you were just a powerhouse of a guy.
It was cool
like,
because
that's that Jones guy.
Yeah, it was cool because like back in the day, like we lost a lot. So all the way up until my senior year was our first year we ever had a winning season, and then after that, my brother ended up losing I think a total of 10 years in his whole high school career. And if you ask anybody about Peabody, they'll say the Jones boys. They'll remember us, and I was fast, and we were a bunch of bullies. I ain't gonna lie to you. Definitely knew how to run the rock. Had Tommy Phillips as a running back. I think he had like 2,600 all-purpose yards that year, so it was fun. So looking back on your high school years, middle school years, and being involved in those types of programs, I'm sensing a real enjoyment and life-shaping experiences out of that. Oh, for sure. I mean, and sports was kind of what kind of kept me it kept me accountable, you know what I mean? Because if I didn't get good grades, I wasn't playing, and that was like the biggest thing. Is like after football season, I wasn't always the best student, but during football season, you got me.
Right, makes sense. Well, for a lot of youth, man, I mean, if you're involved in extracurricular activities such as sport or nowadays, there's so many different things that you can be a part of, but being involved as a youth in extracurricular activities does empower you to do good rather than idle hands, which then lead to trouble in kids a lot.
Right, for sure.
Absolutely. So, okay. So then I know you've been on the program before. It was with another interview with Andy, and I think it was under the Harvey County Digital umbrella. We were talking before the program, and I asked you, what was that, like 6 months ago or something? And you're like, no, it's been a couple of years. And I thought, man, I must really be getting old, because either my memory's fading, which it is obviously in that situation, but time goes by a little faster, as we get older, and just realizing that it had been that long since you'd come out, I thought, well, this is even a better opportunity to really find out where we're at right now. So, you had mentioned that when you had come on the program before that you were not the president of the Junior Railers and Cheer, but now you are, correct?
Yep. So Kyle Coffey, he's one of my mentors now, and he's part of the Railer Foundation as well. But he had his son moved on through the program, so usually someone else steps up, and that became me. I was the crazy one that said I'll do it, right? But the last 2 years it's been a fun ride. I can tell you we've tried just changing up the brand. You can see a couple of our logos. You'll see lots of different stuff that's going on in town, but we're just trying to create a different vibe for the kids, because I mean football has to be fun. This is a kid's sport. It's a game, and we have to have it fun, right? And including when you can just start doing things and having a different flair. We have 2 different jerseys. I mean, things like that's been a really great success. I mean, just being more upfront and being aware, people being like, hey, here we are on Facebook, you know what I mean? So that's kind of been a good win for us, growing the club 30-40% last year was amazing, and we need to just continue that, because at the end of the day we are a feeder program for the high school, and we have an amazing high school coach, some amazing teachers. I mean, like, the whole system that we have going on right here in Newton is amazing, and so let's just start feeding exactly what it needs, and that's some great leaders, because we know not all these kids are going to play football afterwards, right? I think someone told me it was like 7% of all the kids that play high school football will go on and play the next level, right? So that's like 7 kids out of my club. We had 100 kids last year. So I want parents to realize that it's like, this is just the one time you're going to get the greatest enjoyment for your son. Just be a mom, just be a dad, and enjoy the football. I mean,
I'd say on 2 points, I have watched how you all have evolved, not taking anything away from the previous individuals that had the program, but just building on a great program to make it better. I've seen you all do that. So,
but I will tell you, like, for anybody that's ever been a volunteer or a ref or a president or a board member, they've set this way where we are able to take this and continue teaching, going forward on this track. I mean, it's been something that's been in a really good situation right now, and I think we're going to continue growing. I think we have a lot of kids coming in right now where our registration's open. We're excited about the numbers I think we're going to hit this year. So
one thing that my mind's coming back to is the word just culture. There was a culture that was built, strong foundation, and then now it's like we're erecting the building, right? And that comes with different branding and growing a program for more people to be a part of. And it's interesting how we had just talked about, and you gave the statistic that only 7%, 7 out of 100, let's say, will go on to play football in college or JUCO or whatever the case may be. But it doesn't take away from the fact that included in a culture where youth are involved at a young age, that then feeds a bigger system, which happens to be, our high school, our middle school programs. But that's also providing an opportunity for these youth to be involved in something.
It's an opportunity. I'll tell one of the stories. I don't want to tell the kid's name, but the kid on my team, his name's Man. His nickname is, and it's really cool because I asked him one of the questions. I give him rides back and forth to the game, and I was like, hey, what do you guys like about football the most? My son's like, I like to tackle. Knorris is like, I like to tackle too. And then Man's like, I just like to be part of a team. And well, this was his first time ever being part of a team, and kind of choked me up a little bit, because it's like, that's why we're doing what we're doing. Part of the Railer Foundation, the one thing I got on with them about is because they're like, hey, we just want to be able to keep these costs as low as possible to give a kid just an opportunity, because that's all it's going to take. Like, someone gave me an opportunity to be the president of this club. Look what we're doing. Like, I just need an opportunity on anything. And I think any kid, you feel it. I mean, it's just give an opportunity. I mean, just want to rub off to people and want to make sure that everybody knows anybody can step up and do this. I mean, I'm just your average Joe, you know what I mean?
Well, you have a heart to serve. That doesn't make you an average Joe, I promise you.
But I get you, man. But you're right. But I mean, it's anybody can. I know there's more of me that can come out and help. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, there could be better coaches. I ain't gonna lie. I need more X and O's coaches, more and more. But at the end of the day, I'll take any volunteer that's gonna come up and help. So
well, and that's that comes to a culture of service to a group of people, and that ties into the Railer Foundation, which we can talk about here in just a minute. But you had mentioned 6th grade football. Now, I'll tell you, I never had the opportunity because came from like a very, very small school.
Peabody small.
Oh, yeah. It was like every 7 to 10 miles or
Gotcha.
15 miles there was a Peabody.
Gotcha.
That would be a big town from where I mean, seriously, like 200 people. You know, there's cousins, and that was the class, type of thing. But interestingly enough, I can remember playing football in 7th and 8th grade. I can remember who my coaches were. I can remember that experience very well. And I mean, it just goes to the fact that, I'll see those coaches now and years and years and years later, and that whole system of just being a part of a team and having camaraderie with other people, and it didn't matter whether you won, lose, or whatever it was. And I can still remember the life lessons that were taught from the coaches that were just volunteers. They're not getting paid big bucks to be a volunteer.
It's never like, I mean, everybody thinks it's all about the wins and losses, and realistically it's not. I mean, I remember a lot of the wins that we did our senior year, but I remember almost all the losses. But I could tell you the more about, hey, do you remember that hit though? You know what I mean? There's so many things. Or when he got that touchdown, or celebrating with other people. Those are key things that I think team sports bring to to it. I mean, it's just something about the team sport, and I think every kid needs experience. I mean, I honestly do, and I think that's why we're doing what we're doing on the Railer Foundation, to give every kid the opportunity. I mean, because the cool thing in Newton, is that we have so many clubs and activities at high school level. We had like the most in any school in the whole school in the state. But it's like we have all these clubs and all this other stuff around, but no one really knows how to get it together. And I think that's what we're doing with the Railer Foundation, is trying to actually bring it all together, saying, hey, here's the Y, here's the rec, here's the clubs, here's this, and this, and here's what everybody's doing. So at least some people know where to go, and get the stuff out. I mean, because that was half the problem when my oldest came through, is I didn't even know how to get her involved with the club sports. You know what I mean? There was always a rec. Well, the rec really didn't work around my schedule as much. So then I wanted to look outside the box and actually wanted more competitive. And we ended up going to Wichita. So it's like, now knowing that, I was like, hey, if I have a chance to help, we're helping. So this whole thing has been pretty awesome the last 2 or 3 years, just seeing it evolve. So,
well, and our community is large enough to be able to have what you can go to Wichita and get, and we could definitely focus more on community. It builds community. So not only are you with your youth and they're building a stronger bond with one another, then you have the parents, right? And so where you might not know who your neighbor is, I've found as I've had children, one thing that if you get involved in what your kids are doing, then you likewise are building relationships, and that becomes then your, I mean, I hate to say it, friend group as an adult, right? You're going places together, you're spending time with one another, you're cheering on each other's kids. And so that just provides an opportunity to even build a strong culture with adults, right?
Yeah, that's how I got into football. I mean, I was just volunteering, doing my time on the grill. And it turned into really escalating a lot to now being where I'm at now with the president. But I'll tell you, the community that we have in Newton, our family, the families here are amazing. We have some tremendous families here. And I don't just want to say it just to say it. It's like, we have some awesome people, and I think that's why I do what I do. And I think a lot of the people on our board, and even in the Railer Foundation and all the other clubs too, is because we have such a great, why not give back and give the best that we can, for our community. So
a network of people all trying to accomplish the same goal in their own way. That's good. So I believe. Let's talk about the just real briefly, the Junior Railer football and cheer program. For those that don't or have not heard of it, or maybe know a little bit about it, can you just explain briefly what is that? What age group they serve?
So, we start Junior Railer football and cheer. For football, we have 1st through 6th grade. Cheer, we have 1st through 8th grade. For football, we do ask that any kid that does go through the program, make sure you at least have 1 year underneath the rec playing flag football, just making sure you have common sense of what's going on with the game, because once you start putting the shoulder pads on, it's a little bit different. In 1st and 2nd grade, we do start off, it's rookie football, so it's kind of a very, I won't say limited, but it's not as aggressive as when you get older. There's no blitzing through the A gaps. There's no quarterback sneaks, no going off the edge. I mean, it's true fundamental football at that age, and it's really good and safe to teach kids at that age. And then third through six, I mean, you're playing competitively. We're in a league now that I'm actually the president of that, and there's like 12 of us, I think, 11, 12 cities that we pretty much just all jumped ship last year, 2 years ago, and now we all focus on just trying to do exactly what we're doing here in Newton, teaching the right game, positivity, leadership, and just the accountability, the whole thing, what football is, right? That's what we're being a part of. That's what you're going to get with Newton Junior Football. Cheer, we have amazing new cheer coordinator, Carmen. I'm really excited for her and her positivity that she brings to the table. I think she's going to be able to bring out even more of the cheer, and we're actually going to have some excitement coming out of that department here soon as well. So
yeah, it's amazing when we talk about even youth that young. You're establishing the principles in those children's lives to be the best they can be.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
It's not. You know, we go back to what we just talked about as far as, you know, how many will go on to play. It's, you know, professionally, let's say 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000 of, you know, so, but what it does is it sets individual goals of these youth, and then they're there to just be encouraged to do the best that they can with who they are as a human being.
Yep.
You know, and that goes a long way. You know, that goes a long way. Okay, so moving on to the Railer Foundation. I know a little bit, but probably might even mistake some of what I have come to know. I mean, obviously, when I first heard about the Railer Foundation was the big lift that you all are doing with trying to raise funds to help fix up what's the park called?
Themian Park.
Themian Park. My
Yeah,
apologize.
yeah.
For some reason, Hyde Park was coming to my name. I was like, that's not right. Themian Park. I live half a block away from it. So, you know, and that is taking a collaboration between the city, the rec, the foundation, trying to get community buy-in. But for people that are hearing about the Railer Foundation, can you explain what is the Railer Foundation, or maybe where it came from?
So the Railer Foundation. So I was asked to be on it a few years ago when I was, I think, vice president to Kyle in the club, and just started showing up to meetings. Pretty much got the gist that we're trying to make it where maybe long term some of the clubs maybe might be able to depend on the foundation to give like scholarships and stuff, and even if not, give like some of the hardships away, you know what I mean, versus some of the, like us trying to just raise funds. I mean, there's a lot of fundraising in club just to keep the costs as low as we can. And so long term, the goal for the foundation was just to be able to collab with the other junior clubs from basketball, baseball, soccer, and anybody else that comes along the way, you know. And now we're just be able to talk. Like, I'm getting mentorship from Bradley, you know, from some of the things that happened last year. I was like, hey man, how would you guys handle this stuff? So it's like, now it's just a group of us kind of just trying to collab, and just make a better, you know, youth sports here in Newton. And it doesn't matter if you're in the Y, if you're the rec, or if you're a club, here's what we have to offer in Newton sports is what we're pretty much getting at. So
yeah. And then when you talk about a foundation, you had mentioned that hardships, right? So if let's say you're an individual, that what this foundation tries to target's not the correct word, but tries to help with is if there's somebody that doesn't have the money to be able to get their kid into something like that, then there's maybe hopefully a way that they can get some assistance with that?
So that's the goal of it. I mean, so we're just pretty much trying to help anybody that we can and just give opportunities. Like I said, when I first started the club, or even my oldest, I didn't even know how to get someone into junior basketball, you know, and I didn't even know, like, I knew there was this MAYB or that MAYB, but then they had this traveling team, and it's just like, there has to be some way we can all just like kind of say, hey, here's what we have to offer for esports, and here's the foundation, like here's what we're doing. And then if anybody does have any hardships, you know, come to us and we'll be able to help out accordingly.
Yeah. Do you want to give any shout outs to anybody that is on that foundation?
Man, everybody. I mean, so like I'll tell you, there's so many behind the scenes. I mean, Bradley Cook. I mean, Bradley is a guy. Joel Smith, man, those two guys are my dudes right there. I'll tell you, Kyle Coffey, Brandon Weeks, Jason Greavy. I mean, there's some amazing guys that we have on our board. Not on our board. I don't even want to say it's a board. We're all different entities. Like, there's none of us that's really like
collaboration.
Yeah, it's just a collab that we all sat down and said, hey, let's try doing something good for Newton sports. And when we started the whole madness, we started like, hey, let's do something at Themium Park. One of them, I think it was Joel or Bradley, said let's do something at Themium Park, and it's like, well, that sounds great. And they're like, how much do you think it would cost for basketball, your court? And I'm like, man, that's $100,000. We have to be able to do this and this and this. And then all of a sudden, once it got to the city and all the other stuff, it just got to that number. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're just trying to re-ramp that park down there. I mean, because you have to remember, there's a lot of kids at 5th and 6th grade that's their recess still. And at that age, I remember when I needed that. I needed to go do something. And if they had an awesome basketball court or just a pickleball court, just some more opportunities to just help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Might say, hey man, that kid's a stud in basketball. You should here's your card for junior Railer basketball. You know what I mean? So that's kind of
when
the mission of that junior Railer or the whole Themium Park thing came from. So
and you talk about Themium Park, the history of Themium Park being one of the oldest parks. I believe it originally was the West Park, and then there was an East Park, which, if I'm not mistaken, is Military Park. So both of these parks have been around since the beginning of Newton and extracurricular activities. And knowing that although there's been investments, so not knocking anything as far as investments are concerned, but to maintain and keep those downtown parks, to make them more vibrant, more attractive, especially when it comes to, from what I see, not necessarily playground. I mean, we're talking about improving things not only in that way, but also in sport activities like basketball and pickleball.
Sure. I mean, you just think about it right now. They got blast ball going right now. The kids can be playing on a brand new blast ball field that we had down there. So, I mean, those are things right there that, I mean, just giving it a little bit more excitement to what we're trying to bring here in Newton. The culture is changing. You can feel it. Everybody can feel it. And this is just another thing that I think will help long term. And this is something that kids will play on for generations to come. So.
Yeah. And then, so anytime I'm having a conversation, I always want to see both sides of the coin. So I always ask kind of like, what's a challenge? And then leading into the next one would be like, what's something that has touched your heart or is real positive? But, in endeavoring to do this kind of thing, and really putting yourself out there personally, what's one of the biggest challenges that you feel like you've personally faced?
The biggest challenge in the Railer Foundation?
Well, it can either be just as far as you being so involved, or yes, with the Railer Foundation, or just kind of, it's an open-ended question to allow you to just kind of pick from where you want.
Gotcha. I mean, at the end of the day, I just like to give back. I mean, that's one thing that Peabody taught me in moving from Virginia, pretty much DC area, to Peabody, Kansas, was a culture shock in its own. So Peabody taught me a lot of the small town things, and I think that's what I wanted to bring here in Newton, because one, we have an amazing town. An amazing town, and I just want to keep on bragging about the good things we have going for it. And so that's one thing I just want to keep on excelling, or all the good things that we have going. Why not lead it with some kids? Hey, we're building homes right now. Why don't we fill them with some kids that can come fill these programs up? I mean, that's kind of what I want to see. I mean, there's no reason that Newton can't one day win a state championship in anything. You know what I mean? We deserve it. They all deserve. I mean, I shouldn't have said it like that, but we deserve it like that.
We do. We deserve it.
And so I want to help. That's what I'm saying. So anything we can keep on feeding. We have some culture guys at the high school now. I mean, Counts, I don't know if you've met him yet, but the dude is like, he's an awesome guy, and I'm ready to continue feeding what we got going for him, because I mean, one day my son will be playing for him, and we have some big kids going through our program, big boys, and I think we'll have the talent. Maybe one day we might be able to do it.
Well, when you talk about winning programs and you look at other schools that have been successful at a state level, like football or basketball, let's say, they don't just, there's building years, and then from there, then there's wins, and then they might go through a transition, and it might go back to building years again. And but something that all those have in common, I mean, point to one of them and tell me a group or a school anywhere at any level, 1A through 6A or whatever the case may be, that they don't have a positive culture that feeds their program and nurturing those youth up to the point in time when they become state champs.
Yeah, I mean, and at the end of the day, what's the worst that's going to happen? We shoot for it and they try. I mean, we already know the statistics. Not all these kids are going to go on and move forward. Yeah. But man, let's give them the best chance that they can through the Newton. I mean, we have one of the best high schools in the state. I mean, I think we just now need to start bringing it all together, and I think we're on the mission. I think the seniors that we have coming up next year is going to be the ones we're going to start building from, and it's going to be amazing what's coming here in Newton. That's all I can tell you. It's going to be amazing.
And I'll agree with you. We are on an uptick. I mean, I'm an economic development guy, so I always look at, we've got tons of houses being built. We really do. We've got different amenities that are starting to come to fruition. We've got large corporation coming here, smaller businesses coming here. I mean, it's been said that once you get the momentum going, it's hard to stop the momentum, similar to a train, right? We'll have to use the analogy. We're railers. But I also know as a parent that when people look at a community about whether they want to move there or not, right? We all think, oh, well, there's got to be a house, obviously, for you to move to. There's got to be jobs. But outside of that, if people have children, then they want to know what kind of amenities you have. Library, parks, schools. What kind of extracurricular activities can my child get involved in? And this Railer Foundation, the Junior Railer football and cheer, all the things that we've talked about make us a bullseye for parents that want to say, I want to move to Newton because of what Newton has to offer.
I think that's what we're doing. I think that's exactly that's what I want to do. I can tell you it's been amazing. Just going through the program itself, it wasn't as slick as I thought it was, and that's some of the things we're doing on the back end and sharpening it up. But for sure, definitely, there's so many amazing things we have going here in town. It's an
amazing thing. Okay, so you didn't specifically say that you had any particular challenge, but you just mentioned something.
I do have
about
some particular challenge.
Well,
now I think about
on the back end, right?
There's been some headaches. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, there's been a lot of headaches. I don't want to sit there and act like everything's been roses. But the one thing about me is that you can't push me down because I'm going to continue punching. I'm going to continue going. But some of the failures that we've had is just all internal. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's all just been the willy-nilly stuff what we've been doing over the past has just been the outcome of the byproduct of what we've seen in the high school level. I'm not saying anything to anybody that's done this before me, and I'm not saying I'm right or wrong or anything like that, but I feel like if we got on a one-track system and said, hey, here's the system, and first, second, third, fourth, fifth, all running the same system. Guess what? It happens to tie into 7th and 8th grade now, and so forth on the counts level. And so I feel like that's the one thing I wish we would have had. I would have been given. It's because it's been a couple losing years for me, man, on my team. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter about the losses. We're building up little leaders here. That's the goal.
Yeah, and it's interesting that we talk about that because when we talk about challenges, most people associate challenges, and I may be wrong in saying most people do, but I think it's a common thought that challenges equal negative. And any time that a person wants to improve on what has been doesn't mean that what has been is necessarily negative or that somehow or another someone failed. It can just mean that you want to improve. And anytime you're trying to improve anything, whether it's lifting weights or whether it's dieting or whether it's doing anything you want to do in life, that is a challenge. Absolutely. Okay, so I guess, Duane, my question now is just a real direct question. I like to ask when people are movers and shakers and doing things that are extraordinary, and I believe that you are somebody that's doing that. You've got to be investing a lot of your time, energy, and effort and all the things that you're doing, along with being a family man and kids and all of that, because that in and of itself is a big lift. But then to pour out, it is even more important, but also something that requires a lot of time, energy, and effort. Why do all that?
Man, I have to stay active. I mean, that keeps me out of trouble. First and foremost. I mean, that keeps me out of trouble, but also keeps me, I just want to stay busy, man. I just feel like when I can pour out, because I love to just say I can rub off on some people and just give that little elbow sometimes, and it goes a long ways. And I do it with work sometimes, even if I just make a little video, but it teaches someone like, man, how does he have that much time? How does he have that much time? I have that much time because everybody has 24 hours, and you watch the greats. I mean, I try focusing on what they did, and I kind of one day just want to be the best sales rep and the best dad, the best coach, the best little football guy for Newton can be. You know what I mean? That's kind of my MO. I just like doing things, and I like go full board with it. My granddad, he's a perfect role model for me, and he led by example of you have to be the one to do it, and no one's gonna do it for us. So I feel like, hey, everybody said, well, Newton still sucks at football. Well, I'm tired of hearing it.
Yeah.
So I'm doing something about it.
Yeah.
And I'm ready for more people to come around and help.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And so if you want to find my why, I guess that's it right now. That, and I just love working at a high level. So
yeah. Okay. So just if I'm somebody that's just now hearing about the Railer Foundation, or I've heard about the Railer Foundation, I'm listening to this story and I'm thinking, there's got to be a way that I can also get involved. I often have said that, even though your kids are not in high school no more, or they're not in middle school, or whatever the case, but a lot of emphasis is placed on high school sports and activities, obviously. But if you don't have to have a kid playing, but they sure would love to have somebody from Newton cheering them on, right? So, given all of that, if I'm somebody that's asking, well, how do I get involved? How can I get involved? Just give me a rundown from if it's, can you donate $5 to can you donate $100 or more maybe, or if I'm a business, or can I volunteer? Just give me all the ways that you can think of that a person could get involved in the Railer Foundation. I
mean, really, if you just want to reach out to us on Facebook, and then reach out to Bradley, myself, Joel Smith, Kyle Coffey. I mean, Brandon Weeks. We can all talk to you about what's going on and get you involved there. Donations, I know we have a website. You can go get all that donation, and we have a golf tournament coming up right now, the end of May, the 30th, I believe. So we still are looking for people in that golf tournament as well. And those are things that are going to continue feeding that Themian Park project for us. So.
Yeah. So you go to Facebook page.
Facebook. I don't know it.
Railer
That's
Foundation.
Not me that does all
I'm guessing.
Yeah,
just look up Railer Foundation.
Railer Foundation.
Okay.
RailerFoundation.com.
Yeah. Just look up
Railer
Foundation
somewhere.
Yep. We'll make sure and put it in the other thing. Okay. So I don't know, Duane. I'm very supportive, both in heart and mind, with what is going on. I'm sure there's a lot of people that can say the same thing. I'm hopeful that, I've just seen a lot of collaboration already come of what you all are doing. Mm-hmm. Once again, the most recent thing was there's already blueprints out there just with Themian Park. Now, that's a big thing, right? Obviously, but there's so much that goes on outside of that with what you all are doing, and the whole lot of you, so anybody listening to this right now that is a part of it in any way, have your youth involved, have had your youth involved, knows that your kids have been impacted, or where, find a way to give back. And if you're somebody that's already given, I'll just tell you, as a community member, we appreciate you. We absolutely appreciate you, Duane. Okay. Coming to the end of the program here, I just want to give you the opportunity that I give everybody that comes on the program to just speak directly to the hearts and the minds of anybody listening and give the last word. What do you got for us, Duane?
Man, I just want everybody just to continue supporting the junior Railer football and cheer, basketball, junior basketball, junior Railer baseball and softball. We have so many youth sports out here that are trying to build up little leaders of America, and I just hope everybody can come out and find a way to give your kid opportunity. And if you have any strikes or anything that's hold up, just let us know, and we're here to support you.
Awesome. I appreciate you, Duane.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Well, thank you for listening to this episode of HC Talk. As always, I was your host, Lance Gormley, and our guest on the program today was Duane Jones, who is the president of the Junior Railers Football and Cheer, head football coach for 6th grade, and is also a representative here today, but also very involved in the Railer Foundation. Have a good one, everybody.